Hello and welcome to the AIDEM Risala Update Interactions. We've had a very important international affairs development today. The US president election is getting very interesting with the Democratic President Joe Biden stepping down from the race. And he has nominated Kamala Harris, his vice president, he has suggested that she should become the presidential candidate. We don't know whether she'll become the presidential candidate. He has dropped out in a context where his approval ratings were abysmally low. He was in the mid 30s. His approval rating was in the mid 30s. And his Republican opponent, who has been already nominated by the Republican Party, Donald Trump, is very high, has got very high approval ratings. To discuss this situation and to see whether the Democrats can use this situation to kind of reclaim some lost ground. We have with us one of the topmost international affairs experts of this country, John Cherian, who was headed the international affairs journalistic departments of very many organizations, including the Hindu and Frontline of the PTI and all that. So, John was also a former colleague of mine. John, welcome to the AIDEM Risala Update Interaction. So, I have kind of given you the first question in my preface itself. So, can I have your take on what exactly, how exactly you see the situation?
Thank you, Venkatesh, for inviting me. Yes, I have just returned from the United States after spending 2 months there. I could observe that the situation, that the politics there is not totally polarized. Even in the last elections, Biden won actually by a few thousand votes, although he got 10 million more votes in the final tally. But in the 4 swing states, which are very important in the presidential election, he only got, he won by, around 10,000 to 15,000 votes. So, it's on a knife edge, the election. Who is the Democratic candidate? And it is not a given that Kamala Harris is going to be the candidate. Because I don't think America, especially an America which is now polarized between, so polarized that is ready for another black president. Interestingly, as the former president Barack Obama has not endorsed Kamala Harris as the next presidential candidate. Although Bill Clinton was among the first to support Kamala Harris, Democratic candidate.
Yeah.
So
interestingly, somebody like Bernie Sanders, who was the left of center voice in the Democratic Party, and who has been an opponent of Biden during the last elections. In the sense, he was in the race for becoming the presidential candidate when Biden ultimately became the presidential candidate. So, what do you think of the support that people like Bernie Sanders have given to Biden?
It's not only Bernie who wanted Biden to continue, also the so-called progressive Democrats faction in the Democratic Party, who most of them are actually very young politicians. Even they wanted Biden to continue. I think probably they fear that the new Democratic candidate is going to be a centrist candidate, who will have more appeal to Republican voters. So I mean, they don't want the Democratic Party to go right, to become a right-wing party again. Not that it is too left-wing, but yeah. So I think this is one of the reasons why why people like Biden and other Democrats wanted, people like Bernie Sanders wanted Biden to stay.
Yeah.
But I think Biden's position was untenable because, it was obvious that he was not physically or mentally, ready for another 4-year term. So, right. I mean, yeah. So, I know, so it's going to be a difficult task for the Democrats. Most foreign governments are preparing for Trump's comeback.
Okay.
The recent Iranian elections, for instance, all the
Huh.
candidates there were, it was taken as a given that Trump is going to be the next president. So they are all arguing among themselves who's the best candidate who would be able to deal with Trump when he
Trump.
comes back.
Okay. Hmm. So, what do you think are Kamala Harris's chances? Of course, the Indian
See,
media
Kamala
has.
Harris, Kamala Harris, first of all, Biden didn't give her any importance. He didn't take her into confidence while taking important decisions. He put her in charge of the border issue, very emotive issue among Americans. Illegal immigrants coming through Mexican border. It's an
Yeah.
intractable problem, and she was put in charge of that. And I mean, she couldn't do anything. And initially, she mishandled it also. She never bothered to visit the border area. Then
Hmm.
she has a habit of, she's not intellectually, that she's no, let's put it this way, she's no Barack Obama. I mean, she
Okay.
doesn't have the gift of the gab, and the recently video has gone viral of her making the same speech, in 20 on 20 different occasions, not even
Okay.
changing a line. Yeah, so
Okay.
I mean, people are making fun of her, intellectual capacities. Yeah, in the media especially. I don't know, but right now she has got most of the endorsements from the Democratic Party, but there are many of the top Democrats are still quiet. So it's
Hmm.
we'll have to wait and see who's going to be
Who,
the candidate.
apart from
An
apart from
open convention where they can select the next candidate,
right,
through vote.
right, right.
Yeah.
Apart from Obama, who are the main people in the Democratic Party who are not supporting Kamala Harris or no, were not?
No,
Were,
no. Obama is said he's not. He just kept quiet. He's not opposed
Hmm.
to Kamala. I mean, he has been one of Kamala's biggest backers
Ah,
uh, since she entered politics.
okay,
But yeah,
okay.
so he's just keeping his cards close to his chest. He wants to play the role of an elder statesman,
Right, right,
neutral elder statesman.
right,
Bernie
right.
Sanders, I suppose, if we wanted Biden to stay, he will have to support Kamala Harris. So,
Okay,
so the progressive, group in the Democrats, they will also support her. But then many Democrats actually want Gavin Newsom, who is the governor of California,
Hmm.
to be the candidate. He is
Okay,
he's very articulate, very supposedly, very popular. But then he's also from California, and Kamala Harris is
is
also
also
from.
from.
So only one of them can be on the ticket. So there's talk,
Hmm.
when I remember about 6 months ago, there were rumors that the Democrat Wall Street wanted Biden to be replaced, and they were talking about moderate Democrats.
Okay,
Who will have more appeal among Republicans to replace Biden.
right,
So
right,
obviously,
right.
it was it's not the Democratic Party which pushed Biden out. It's Wall Street,
Okay, okay.
which pressure from Wall Street, because many of the top donors from Wall Street
Hmm.
refused
Hmm.
to contribute to
Hmm.
the Democratic campaign. So that.
Right.
And also, interestingly, this time, Silicon Valley, many of
Yeah.
big Silicon Valley are openly supporting Trump,
Hmm.
which was not the case when Trump stood last
First
time.
time. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So the wind is in nothing. It's in favor of Trump at the moment. But like I
Hmm.
said, it's very polarized. It's a question of a few thousand votes in the 4 swing states of America,
Right. Hmm.
which matter. And if Biden would have been the president, then it would have been very difficult for Democrats to win in the swing state. Already trailing in the swing state. In
Okay.
Michigan, which is one of the crucial swing states, there are more than 100,000 Muslim voters.
Okay.
They would have definitely not voted for Biden. Not sure whether they vote for Kamala.
Yeah.
And Michigan was a swing state which Biden won by about only 10,000 votes in the last election.
Right.
So,
Right.
so Biden, if Biden was the candidate, it would have been tough for the Democrats to come back.
There is a stream of opinion.
Roll the dice for the yeah.
There is a stream of opinion among international observers which says that that by pitchforking Kamala Harris into this candidature, and she being of Indian origin, of she being not of white, I mean she's a colored American. So this could kind of bring a new debate to the election, and this could make the Democrats save some face and maybe even turn this crisis into an opportunity. What is your take on such an observation?
No, I understand. You said that Kamala is
If
Kamala being
Kamala being of Indian origin and of being of she's not a white, she's a colored woman, and this could create this could impart a new element to the election, where for the first time you will have an Indian origin person and a person, and that this could bring a qualitative change.
that's true. It can be. Kamala being of both black and Indian origin would be, she would be able to attract more black voters for sure, because black voters were increasingly alienated by Biden. I'm not sure about the Indian voters, because I mean most of the Indian voters are registered Democrats, but many of them have now been veering towards the Republican party.
Especially Trump.
Especially,
They also seem to they seem to hero worship Trump like they hero worship Modi in India.
Yes. They know. I mean, they have seen the connection between Trump and Modi. For instance, in one of the cities in New Jersey, they even they had a procession in which they had bulldozers. In the press, in the Indian Gujarati led them. So I mean, and the connection between Trump and Modi is very strong. And you remember in the last British elections, not this one, the last one, when the Conservatives won, the BJP openly worked for the Conservatives. So this time a large chunk of the Indian votes will go to the Republicans, and many of the Vivek Ramaswamy was one
Ramaswamy.
And the wife of J.D. Vance is a very self-proclaimed proud Hindu. So that would also swing many Indian votes towards the Republicans. So it's interesting,
But the mainstream Indian media is already going gung-ho about the very mention of Kamala Harris as a potential candidate. Now we have already have talk about the various things that that family has done for India. How it is even there is I read somewhere on social media that this Kamala Harris is the projection of Kamala Harris is a success of the Nehruvian model, because her father used to work for the Nehru government, and she apparently quoted Nehru somewhere. I mean, so all these kind of extreme parallels are now being drawn in the mainstream Indian media.
But Kamala, both I mean Kamala and especially a husband who is Jewish. I mean, he is an avowed Zionist, and during in the Gaza war, the husband issued a lot of statements supporting Israel. But interestingly, I believe Kamala's sister and her daughter adopted a pro-Palestinian position in their social media messages. And Kamala, of course, has to support Biden. And one of the legacies, a sad legacy of Biden will be his role in the Gaza conflict. And it will be difficult for Kamala to shrug it off. It's going to play a role in the election, especially like I told you in the swing state of Michigan. if the Democrats don't get Michigan, it will be very difficult for them to win the election.
Election.
They'll definitely get most of the votes, popular votes, but
Yeah.
that doesn't matter in American politics.
But the difference between Trump and Biden was very huge. And do you think the Democrats would actually be able to, especially after this so-called assassination attempt against Trump and the way
The
he
assassination
responded
attempt
to
has given more wind to Trump's sail. I mean, they actually, many of his supporters are Christian fundamentalists. So they think it is God's divine intervention which saved Trump. Trump has been selected by. It definitely has given a win. But even then, the gap has not been much between Biden. It's just 2%, 3% in the swing states. Otherwise, the red states, which belong to the will remain red, and the blue states will remain blue. It's only these 4 or 5 swing states which sometimes turn blue, sometimes pro-democratic, sometimes Republican. They are the states which matter. Otherwise, the situation is still the same like it was 10 years ago. So yeah, so this is the 5 states. The 5 states, the swing states, will decide who is the next president. And also, one reason why Biden was replaced is the Democrats feared that if he's the standard bearer, the Democrats will lose in the congressional elections also.
right.
So they not only lose the presidency, but also they lose the control of the Congress. So with Kamala, they may lose the presidency, but at least they'll be able to retain or do better in the congressional elections. And also Senate. The Senate is also on a knife's edge. Democrats have got a majority of only 1. And if they lose both the Senate and the Congress and the presidency, then they are in big trouble, because Trump is threatening to overhaul everything, and also wreak vengeance on those who allegedly hounded him.
Right. So, but what is your take? I mean, the point is that if you look at this whole situation, certainly the Democrats have been able to bring in a new element to this contest by through the stepping down of Biden and kind of the projection that Biden himself has made of Kamala Harris. What is your overall take? Will the Democrats be able to kind of go through the situation and come up with a candidate who can stand up to Trump and maybe swing the swing states? What is your take? How do you look at this election as it is progressing towards its penultimate stage?
How do I?
What is your own assessment of the situation as it stands today?
As it stands today, right now, Trump is ahead in the polls. But how many days are there for election? 40, 50 days, 60 days? I mean, 60 days is a long time in American politics. I mean, there's going to be another debate. And, it was only after the last debate that, Biden decided to withdraw. So, whoever is the Democratic candidate, and he or she fares well in the debate and defeats and does better against Trump, I mean, that will swing votes. And the establishment is still is with Democrats, both the media, most of the television networks. So the Democrats, they say that the battle is only just begun. They are confident. They are confident of of keeping Trump at bay. So,
right. So maybe there's also some kind of a centrist tilt in some of these developed nations like UK. That's what we saw in UK, and also in France we saw this surprise result, which was also partly driven by people like Mbappe. So there is also this thing about that while there is an overall rightward shift across the globe, there is also some shift to the center in some significant nations, developed nations of this country. So there is the Democrats may be expecting that some influence of that will be seen here in the US as well. Do you think so?
Unfortunately, in America, there is no left. I mean, of course, there is a Green Party put up a candidate. Then there is I forget his name, the Harvard academic. He is genuinely left. But the Democrats and Republicans, I mean, there's not much of a difference. Whoever is in power, the foreign policy virtually remains the same. In fact,
Right.
if Trump comes to power, probably the Ukraine war can end because most of the Republicans are not supportive of
Yeah.
the Ukraine
Ukraine.
war.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
in some respects, the Democrats are liberal interventionists. I mean, they are the ones, who have created most of the, precipitated most of the wars since World War II. So, in American politics is well. There's nothing progressive. You can't expect anything progressive. There's nothing positive. Nothing in American foreign policy. But somebody like Trump in West Asia can create problems. Well, he is even more pro-Israel than Biden.
Right.
He's the
Right.
one who pushed some Gulf Arab states into recognizing Israel, and he's the man who
Mm.
killed, who gave the order to assassinate General Soleimani, the famous
Right.
Iranian general. So, Tweedledum and Tweedledee, that's the difference between Democrats and Republicans. I don't
Right.
think,
Right.
even
That is
even for that matter, even the Labour Party, I mean, Starmer, and there's no difference between Starmer and Rishi Sunak. Well, Starmer
right.
is probably more right wing than.
So anyway, the centrist shift is not exactly a centrist shift. That's what you're trying to say. But anyway, as far as the US elections are concerned, this has been a very important turning point in this election. And you are of the view that, that 50, 60 days could be,
It's going to
could
be a
be,
close election. It's not going to be a
okay.
landslide.
Yeah.
No landslide election. I don't not to be not like Ronald Reagan's election. No landslide. It's going to be
Okay.
definitely closely fought. So the swing, like I said, this all depends on the states like
Things,
Michigan,
yeah.
Pennsylvania, Georgia. These are the three or four states which will decide who is the
Right.
next president. But Trump definitely not going to get more popular votes for sure.
Okay.
He'll get electoral college is the key to the presidency.
Right, right. Thank you, John. I think we'll continue the conversation in days to come because
Thank
we'll be
you.
following the
Thank you.
elections
My pleasure.
in the days to come.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.